In example 5, we're going to look at reference angles one more time, but these are going to be angles that are bigger than 360 or 2 pi. It works the same way. So let's take a look at negative 480 degrees and determine where that would be on our coordinate plane. So if we start here, and if we label as we go, remember negative angles are going to go the opposite direction. So here would be 0 degrees, then we have negative 90 degrees, we have negative 180 degrees, negative 270 would be up here on the top, and then all the way around would give us 360 degrees, but we haven't gotten to 480 yet. So what we need to do is we need to keep marking as we go along until we find out at a quadrant that 480 would lie in. So after 360, if we add another 90 degrees to 360, we would get 450. So this we could think of as negative 450 degrees. And if we add another 90 onto that, it would be 540 degrees. So if we take a look, we're looking for negative 480. So 480 is going to lie somewhere between 450 and 540. So our angle is going to be in this third quadrant. So this is negative 480 degrees. And again, the angle has gone around and back again. To figure out what our reference angle is, which is the angle, again, always with the x-axis, never with the y, we're going to take this 540 and subtract the 480. So we're going to take 540 and subtract 480. And if we subtract those, we get 60 degrees, which means our reference angle is 60 degrees. Then we're going to look at that in terms of radians. So let's go ahead and plot negative 43 pi over 12 and figure out where that's at. So we're also going in the negative direction, so the opposite way. So we start with 0. And remember, this is pi over 2, or negative pi over 2, which is the same as 6 pi over 12. So just make the conversion in terms of whatever the denominator is of the one you start with. Then we get to pi, and in terms of 12ths, this is 12 pi over 12. 3 pi over 2 would then be up here since we're in the negative direction, and that's going to be the same as 18 pi over 12. Then we get to 2 pi, and in terms of 12ths, that's 24 pi over 12. And then we have to keep going. We need to figure out where 43 pi over 12 is going to be. So as we look in terms of the 12ths, we have 0, 6 pi over 12, 12 pi over 12, 18. You can see that we're going up by 6 pi over 12 every time. So if we move up another 6 pi over 12, this would be the same thing as 30 pi over 12. Plus another 6, this would be 36 pi over 12. Plus another 6 would give us 42 pi over 12. And then plus another 6 would give us 48 pi over 12. Then we're looking for negative 43 pi over 12, which should fall between 42 and 48. Remember, we're rotating this way. So as we come through, negative 43 pi has to lie somewhere in this first quadrant, which means our angle that we're looking for, that reference angle, is right here. So if this is 43 pi over 12, we need to find the difference between 43 pi over 12 and 48 pi over 12. So basically what we're doing is we're taking 48 pi over 12 and subtracting 43 pi over 12, which would give us a reference angle of 5 pi over 12. I have one more for you to try. Again, it's in radians, as radians seems to be the one that's a little bit more difficult. So try out 28 pi over 9. Pause it now, unpause it when you're ready to check your answer. If you did try this correctly, you should have gotten a reference angle of pi over 9. If you have any questions on it, please let me know.